Anyone get an answer to the first one yet? A? Does anyone agree? Solo person A. Gus, do you agree, disagree? Luke? Anyone?
Okay, well, we need to find out. Excuse me. We need to find out what's f of gx equals and x equals 3. And f of gx equals is as a function.
Okay, so derivative of this composite. It says, what is the derivative of this composite? So the derivative of, it's asking you to do chain rule. The derivative of the outside function, leave the inside alone, times the derivative of the inside. I don't know what to call this. And then it says evaluate that at 3. So there's a number of ways you could do this. To me, this is probably the most straightforward. Okay, g of 3. What is g of 3? 7? G prime of 3. Oh, shoot. What is g prime? 3. Just 3. So g prime at 3 or 18 or 5.7, whatever. It's a constant. It's 3. All right. Alex, how do I do f prime?
1 over 2 times x squared minus square root of x squared minus times the derivative of x squared minus 4, which is 2x.
Plugging in 7, I get 7 over
Square root of 4.
That's none of those answers. Ethan, what do I need to do?
You would split like 3.5.
That's what I have said a long time. Okay, so you could have plugged in g of x in here, squared it, and done that. So, like I said, there's a number of other ways you could have done this. I see it as chain rule. And this was not simple. It might have been easier to do probably what they did. 3x minus 2 squared, subtract the 4, then do the derivative of that resulting square root. Did give you the same answer.
There we go. I found it.
It's right there, huh?
I did my own calculations.
Awesome. Me too. So the second one is just the multiple choices, having all the possible combinations of h prime, and h double prime. What is h of 6 given that? This is a graph of, so reading the question, this is a graph of f. How do I read h from a graph of f? Well, h is the integral of, so h of 6 is the integral from 0 to 6 of this. So I don't want a value, but is it positive, negative, or 0? Negative, because it's area under the curve. Whatever it is, it's less than 0. What is h prime of 6? h prime derivative of the integral is the function inside, well, and then evaluated at 6, I say it's 0, h double prime of 6. How do I read h double prime off the graph? The slope, which is going to be positive. So low to high is h of 6, h prime, h double. It is less important for the multiple choice midterm, but for the AP exam, when you have the free response questions, there's always one that's on fundamental theorem of calculus. Remember, you need to tie them together, like as a step on that question. Like, how does h that they're asking about relate to the graph of f? Well, shoot, there you go. Derivative of the integral, h prime is f, or whatever letters they gave you. Okay? What questions do you guys have from the midterm review, that is? I have more exit card questions if you want to do them.
Exit card questions, yes.
Exit card questions. Well, do you guys have specific questions on, yes?
So I have a question about problem 3.
3E.
Yeah, that one. Because when I looked at the answer key, I got the first part of your answer, but not the second.
Okay, there isn't the second part, and if, well, all right. As we just said, derivative of an integral is the stuff inside all right. So it's that with these guys plugged in. The only variable is t, so I'm going to plug in cosine x for t and then do the derivative of cosine, which is negative sine, minus plugging in the bottom. The derivative of pi is 0, so that one goes away. And that's all my answers. So, did I not do that?
No.
You didn't put the 0 part, so we didn't understand what happened.
Oh, that, okay.
Yeah.
So I don't usually ever even write it because integrating, yeah, that constant thing just gets in my way. Let's go. What else?
I have a question on 17.
Okay, my 17 might be different than your 17.
Yeah, I think it was I don't remember the portion.
Hate this question. I think I've deleted it. So your 17 is 19. Okay. And there's more data on yours than this one? Or not? Do I tell you what the velocity is?
Yeah, v of 1 goes negative.
Okay. So part A and B?
I think I got confused because once you do B, part of the answer for A disappears.
Okay. Well, let's see. Physics people, what's the relationship of acceleration and velocity? The integral of acceleration is velocity. So velocity is the integral of acceleration. And they want to know what's the velocity at 9 seconds. So what do I do? Do I put numbers on this? What do I do?
2x plus equal 25t root 25t.
So Amir says, just integrate, raise the power, divide by the new power. 2 becomes 2t, 5 to t to the times t to the half, raise from half to 3 halves. Divide by 3 halves is multiplying by 2/3. Don't forget plus c. What do I do now?
Plug in the value that they gave you so first.
So velocity at 1 is negative 1/3. So what does c become? So negative 11/3.
Okay, so we add. It's negative 17/3.
That's gross.
Wait,
16/3. Yep. Gross, but is that right? So I keep forgetting to fix the typo, like forever I never had an initial value and you need that. And now it seems like I intended it to be a nice number, like a positive 1/3, and it's not. Oh well. And I don't know if I've updated the answer key with my chosen value, so. All right, so if that's my equation for velocity, plug in 9 and just get a number for part A. Um, 9 to the 3 halves is 27 divided by 3 is 90?
Yeah.
Minus 17/3. Gross. 108 minus 17/3. Oh no. On the AP exam, I'm allowed to leave that. What is the total distance covered by that object in the first 9 seconds? I don't know. Is it calculator?
It's
Or not.
108.
If I was to just put absolute value on that, that would work. But is velocity negative anywhere in 0 to 9? I don't think so. So I could just integrate again and integrating again, t squared. 3 halves becomes 5 halves. That's position at any given point. Plug in 0 to 9, the plus c goes away. Here's just 108, I don't know. But that's what you do. Let's go, Alex. Yeah.
So wait, what did you plug in the position?
To the position, it said how much, what is its total distance? So I need to check if velocity is negative anywhere from 0 to 9. Where is this 0? At 0. Sorry, not even at 0, but it does cross. You can cheat and do the absolute value bars and say whatever distance that went backwards, I'm not gonna make it positive and just integrate. So I need to fix my typos again, and still, we think I figured out by now.
Oh wait, if you plugged in 0 through 9, you said C would go away. How would C?
Because v of 9 minus v of 0, that would have had the plus c, this would have been minus plus
Oh,
C,
so then
they,
it goes away.
they end up going.
And then also, this is like kind of a dumb question, but for like it says B and then you have the integral and you have the absolute value bars. When you're integrating that, would you have every single like part of it with absolute value bars? Or would you just
Take the whole thing and put it in there.
Okay.
Like, if this was on a calculator, you would type absolute value, type all that in, integrate.
Okay.
I would not split pieces up. Other questions, or do you guys want to do the other exit party questions, or, yeah? Cindy?
For question 8, can you explain how to incorporate
Okay. They really want you to just be able to estimate. G prime of 1, this is a graph of G. So, I don't know,
I can't eyeball it.
So like, yeah, you were just estimating.
Yeah. So if you gave a positive number, you would be wrong. And AP does ask this sometimes. You know, -1 is a reasonable thing, -2 is not. The big deal, AP is mean, watch scales. Like, sometimes they're like, oh, this is 100, that's 200. Where it looks like it's one block to one block. Yes, true. However, the scale on this might be 20 per block and down here is 1 per block. And that's them being mean to see how good you are at watching the details. But yeah, it's just asking you to estimate. That's all. Do we need to do the other parts or? No? Okay. Other things or?
On the last page,
Great.
number 22 is like find the minimum value x y, but then we find the rate change of x y, which is
Yo.
Okay. After 17, my numbers are different. So which one? One more? One more back?
Past.
Past. B and C. So this is getting at mean value theorem. You guys remember what mean value theorem is? Lear, what is it?
Well, the derivative, instantaneous angle of the mean value of two endpoints of function will equal an instantaneous slope on that function. Will equal a point. Yes. Oh,
Okay, so again, this is more a free response kind of question than multiple choice, but I've gotten you guys on the quiz on this, and it was multiple choice. So the function needs to be continuous over the closed interval and differentiable over the open interval. And that little detail was what got you on the quiz. If those two conditions are true, then there is somewhere that the average equals the instant. And you guys were really upset about me using the C. You're like, what's C? I don't understand. What the hell is C? It means that in the interval A to B, there had to be an x value, some x value, a specific x value, that specific x value they're calling C. So that's to say, if that's my slope or my curve, You can't possibly draw that that's continuous and differentiable that doesn't have this thing be true. Why we needed to say continuous, or sorry, differentiable, that's not differentiable, and that pink one doesn't have a slope that is equal to the average. All right, so you asked A and B?
I meant number 24.
Oh. Okay, never mind. Moving on. Okay, this is the only optimization example on the review. It distresses me that AP does not care about optimization. It's an entire branch of engineering, a very lucrative one. Businesses want to know how to get more by using less. Okay, minimum value. I'm gonna just pick a letter, product, P for product.
X times y is equal to 4x squared minus 3x.
Okay, I need X times Y, and this was the kind of optimization problem I put on your chapter 4 test, and you guys were distressed. You were like, I don't know how to get Y in terms of X. I'm like, well, you don't have to. I gave it to you, and you did not enjoy that. Single variable calculus. Try to get one thing in terms of the other. If it's a related rates question, I needed to have given you all of the data. Like, oh, this car's traveling at this speed, this other car's traveling at that speed. Like, I need to give you all the information. So Amir, you said this is 4x squared minus 3x. How do I find maxes and mins? I gotta do the derivative and look for the zeros. Where is it undefined? Nowhere. So the only critical point is when x equals 3/8. Do I have the answer? No. No. What do I gotta do? Number line? Okay. I need to make sure that this is, you're looking for minimum. When x is 0, plugging it into the derivative, it's negative. When x is like, I don't know, fancy 1, that's positive. It's a minimum. So is my answer 3/8?
Yes.
No.
Oh, what?
In the land of multiple choice, they're gonna put this value down. In the land of multiple choice, the next value they're gonna put in
Yes.
is, let's see.
What?
They'll put the y value.
Oh, okay.
And that's also not the right answer. What are they looking for? The minimum product. So the product of x and y, that's what they're looking for. And we've done the B and C, it just solve for x and do the derivatives, or solve for y and do the derivatives, it doesn't matter.
Is it minimum value of x, y?
X times y. Okay, so it's, yes. So what is the smallest of these two numbers multiplied together? Well, we found x when we did our critical points.
Okay.
That x value is gonna give you the smallest product. To find the product of the two things, I need to find the other thing.
Okay, so
So-
3 half minus.
That's probably A, that's probably B, and then they'll do things like, oh, find the reciprocals of those and multiply them together just in case you had concept dyslexia.
Back to like the mean value like theorem thingy. I was confused on part G. Like I know on the answer key you said it was true and you like plugged in the values for the mean, but I was like kind of confused about
Okay.
how you test that one.
F prime of C equals 2 for at least one thing. All right. For these, I always draw the givens. -5, -10. is a coordinate and +5, +10 is a coordinate, and it is continuous and differentiable. Okay, so what is the average slope? F of 5 minus f of -5 over 5 minus -5. The average equals 2. So if the average equals 2, I could not possibly connect from this dot to that dot without creating somewhere. If you're like, oh, I'm going to sneak up on it this way. Oh, sorry. Oh, I'm going to go around the back way. Nope, right there. The only way you can cheat is to violate one of these conditions. Well, I'm going to make it not differentiable, or I'm going to make it not continuous. So there has to be at least one. There might be several. What else? Midterm tomorrow. Preston is throat ready. He's gonna win a chocolate bar.
Okay.
Tomorrow's test is scan-tron. Please bring pencils that scan.
Don't know. So it's 5.
To yourself, Samir. Let everybody else think things. Ari, better use the 2 pencils. No. Ah, I know, thanks. A little bit better? Yeah. I believe they do. I'll try to find pencils. Shortly after lunch, go trolling the halls with pencils all over the place. So you guys shed them at lunch. Yeah.
But if you only move on, I mean, you got this the same thing.
Camden, any ideas what we're supposed to do on the first
She
one?
said it's either way.
Oh, yep, just one more part.
Camden says split them apart and do the alley rule. Good strategy. So what is this part gonna come out to be?
5.
Just 5. What is this one though? The alley rule does not apply here.
You can turn planets into sinus and cosines, and then sinus to two sinus.
So tangent is sine over cosine, and sine 2x. That one says that that splits up to be 2 sine x cosine x. We did that review thing from pre-cal yesterday. Sine over sine cancels. 4 over 2 is 2. Cosine of 0 is 0. Cosine of 0.
1.
1. So 4 divided by 2 is 2. That's 2. So 5 minus 2 is 3. So these exit cards are from this year, where the class average on the AP exam was a 4.8. Never seen that number since. The average is usually about a 4.5. Just under. It always irritates me. It's like 4.8 or 4.47, 4.48, never over that. But this year was 4.8. You really overtaught things.
So when it's like the limit is h approaching 0, what do you, because I remember we used like the formulas, but
Limit definition of derivative.
yeah. Can you go over a problem that has that?
Yeah.
Thanks. What does it work?
That was all the stuff we did yesterday. So guys, if you see something that looks like that limit definition of derivative, which this is like using its full name, we would normally write it, the limit as h goes to 0, f of x plus h minus f of x over h. Why is it over h? Because x plus h minus x, the x is going. So this is saying find the average between those 2 points, and then be sneaky about it and pull that point around so that it actually becomes instant. I can't say, what's the speed at 2 by saying, well, the position at time 2 minus the position at time 2 over 2 minus 2, that doesn't work. So we cheat and we make it sneak up. And we do things so that the h divide by 0 eventually goes away, gets factored out and disappears. And then we had this shortcut and we said, you know what, you can just use derivative patterns. The AP exam loves this specific question, and they're not asking you to do the sine A plus B thing. They're asking you to recognize it looks like limit definition of derivative. If you know what function does it look like we're doing the derivative of? Okay, it looks like they're asking us to do the derivative of sine, which I know is cosine, and it looks like they're asking me to evaluate it at pi over 6, which is that. That's how they're asking you to do these. They want you to recognize, like, yes, and they're usually multiple choice, so they're not gonna care for seeing your work on this.
For 1C, how do you like recognize that the function is EDF?
It's really hard. And eventually, chapter 8, I will teach you guys the L'Hopital's rule. Do any of you know L'Hopital's yet? Gosh, what is it?
Oh, you like those?
What conditions Sydney has to apply to be able to use L'Hopital's?
I forgot.
Okay, so if we plug in 0 here, we get e to the first minus e to the first, which is 0, and plugging 0 in the bottom. If you get a 0 divided by 0, do the derivative of the top over the derivative of the bottom, and then evaluate again. So in 3 or 4 weeks, you don't have to worry about this one. You can just be like, shoot, I'm gonna bring out the big guns and do this other thing instead. I didn't teach yet, so, man. AP Calculus knows this already. Because they don't do chapter 8, so they need to be told earlier. But Fiona, was that good enough to explain?
Yeah, so we don't really have to use the
You don't have to use the formula, you have to understand the formula. Like, This one is limit definition of square root and asking you to evaluate it at 4. Would you guys do that? No, you could probably do a different method of evaluating, but whatever.
Can you use L'Hopital on 1As? Or
1A, well, the top comes out to 0 and the bottom comes out to 0. So yes, you can use L'Hopitals and you get 2x over 5 minus 2x. And now plugging in 3, you don't get 0 over 0. And but I don't recommend you using a formula that you don't know what it is. Again, I said this yesterday. It's like giving you a loaded gun and saying, go play.